Yo, this video is Alessandra Ambrosio and Beyoncé versus my mental health. Let me turn the flip and go on. Okay, in the vein of the previous versus my mental health videos, this is just gonna be me showing a recent example of like I think a coordinated effort between Alessandra Ambrosio and Beyonce to like hurt my mental health, to make me feel bad when doing evil things. It's just, well, here, I'll just get into it. So, if I pull up there we go. So this is my story in pictures. I talked about this in videos before. I'm not going to go over the whole thing, but for 3.5 years, I've been uh, basically kind of capturing pictures from Instagram or wherever, like content from that I take in during the day that normally I feel like is some people trying to communicate at me in a plausibly deniable way, and using image communication and other forms of communication that aren't necessarily recognized in like a court of law currently. But I think me showing a pattern over a long period of time, that's pretty indisputable, as well as just certain examples of it where they cross a line and it becomes too obvious, that they where the clear intent is to harass and hurt me, and that there's a suggestion that they've done really evil, reprehensible things. One of the reasons I bring up Alessandra Ambrosio is her kids don't look like the man who's purported to be their father. Um, and in fact, I would suggest in the least her son Noah looks more like me than the guy who's purported to be his father. And my suggestion has been, and still is, I think that during one of my first, like, during certain sexual encounters that I've had in my life, the women were like participating in something with Alessandra or these other women, um, and they've basically extracted my semen and gave it to her or whatever, however she procured it. If I think if you DNA test her kids, there's a high probability in my mind that they're going to be my children biologically. Now they don't act like my children. They don't treat me like I'm dad. They treat me really shitty. They, basically like, this is the way I look at this. People had to fool me and lie to me and lie to my parents and attack me. The idea is if Anja Ambrosio is my daughter, they did this when I was 16, and they were probably watching me way before then and doing stuff. But that the fact that there's probably a kid that you could genetically test would suggest like, okay, that's a point where they can't like undo that if you can get the genetic results. Like if you can prove out that they did this whole thing falls apart. If Anja Ambrosio is, if either of them are my kid, but if Anja Ambrosio is my kid, that means they essentially raped me when I was 16, and like she would have been a full grown adult. Same thing with Beyonce and whoever else is participating. And I don't think that these women could have just done this alone. I mean, I've suggested maybe there's a coven of women, and that witchcraft is actually subversive, kind of abusive behavior, and all the occult or whatever magic stuff is more kind of. Oh, I just turned my phone sideways. Is more just kind of bullshit. I mean, if you believe in magic, okay, sure, that's what they're doing. I like to the secular world. I would describe like subversive, abusive, psychologically, manipulative and abusive behavior. And as I've been trying to suggest with this thing that's hurting the right side of my body, that it looks like I'm looking at a mirror with like, Alessandra Ambrosio or a number of other women and people, men, but uh, like Alessandra Ambrosio is a good example because like I think you can maybe even see it in these pictures, but like, yeah, there just seems to be something up with her and a number of other women's left eye. It looks like they're cutting some part of themselves off and like killing some part of themselves in order to kill me, and it's like affecting my right side because I think we're connected in some kind of way. I mean, I think everybody's connected, but I think that like there is a greater, more substantial connection, and they're trying to uh, attack me through it. But I've talked about all this in other videos. This is more. I just wanted to look at some stuff that's going on now. Um, like one of the things that's going on now. Numerous times, I believe I've shown a relation between Alessandra Ambrosio and whatever is attacking me, and or whatever is attacking me, and like extreme cataclysmic weather events that are occurring more regularly these days at extreme levels. Like, the most recent hurricane to hit the United States, Hurricane Helene. Uh, I mean, I would even suggest I know someone, Brittany Helene. I mean, I know someone with that name, where it just seems like I think a lot of the women in my reality have been participating in this for a long time. And in any instance, like with that hurricane, which was absolutely massively destructive, I mean, billions of dollars in damage, hundreds of people dead, thousands, like people missing, people like lives destroyed. I don't particularly want these things. I want this situation to end. So like whatever happens that has to end it, I want it to end. But I don't like seeing people's lives destroyed over what I do think is connected. Like I think these women, and some of it is I think the government, I think people, lots of people know about this, and you guys are just bullshitting me, and like you've been caught in this. There's no way this is going away, and it's only going to become a bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger problem until you're forced to fucking deal with it. And the fact that you've dealt with it so wrongly and evilly up to that point is more of a like problem for you than anything else. But that people have been watching and like participating in this game of like psychological, mental, spiritual, emotional abuse on me. I mean, physical, I think it's crippling the right side of my body and has been since I was a child. So the fact that I've like I think pulled it to a point where it can't, it's persisting, but it's not persisting unchecked. It's much like I think almost a direct parallel, it seems, that Islamic terrorism that you see going on in the Middle East, with these dudes. It's persisted for a long time until Israel just decided to whoop some ass and like is tearing these people to pieces. Similarly, I see these women that like basically are taunting me from a distance, kind of like the terrorist leaders that you see taunting Israel or the whole West. I mean, um, and like they're kind of taunting until they just get drone struck into into nothingness. You know what I mean? And it's like, I think that's a lot like these women, and that's how it's going to serve as like a, I've suggested one of these women is Jezebel, positively. It's not even and I'm pretty sure it's Alessandra Ambrosio. Mostly because what I think she's done is bred me without my permission, had my children, like maybe was like while she was pregnant was getting fucked by other men, making porn and stuff. Like it's all just to be difficult to take for me, because as a man, if you do that to a man, they're going to not just feel bad. I literally think if there is actually a connection between the two people, I think it's toxic to them and is like a cancer. And I think the Bible even describes it as such in like Proverbs 12:4 when it talks about like a righteous woman is a crown to her husband, but a wife that makes ashamed or disappointed is a cancer in his bones. I literally think it means that, and the word there is rot. And I brought up, I think that has to do with Genesis 32 and the strike on the thigh that happens to Jacob. He turns into Israel. I think similarly, they did this to me and I caught it. And I think I'm the guy from Revelation 19, 15 or 16, the one who has written on his thigh King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And I think I get to share in something with Jesus for being the one conquering at the seven churches of Asia, the one victorious. The in the first two, actually first three chapters of Revelation, talk about the seven churches of Asia, and it's basically a series of if-then conditional statements. And if you, if you do the thing that it says, if you do this, then you get this. And I think I've been doing those, and I think that the fourth church, third and fourth church, has to do with some kind of trap set out for the person who's going through the thing, and that they've been caught in this trap, and that it's affecting them, and that Yahweh basically says if you deal with it and you are victorious over this situation, or in the least that you like keep strong during it and like pull it out in the open. I think Yahweh is basically suggestive, like if Alessandra has put a trap out for me and she's Jezebel, she's going to die in front of everybody, as is described with the Jezebel thing. And the men that is that are using her, or that she's using to like beat me over the head by, like, she literally raped me, and so I have a connection with her I can't break. I'm the father of her biological children. Like, I'm the biological father of her children. Again, whether I want to be or not. Not that I hate them, but they don't seem to give a fuck about me. And in fact, I think it's like Stockholm syndrome. They've just been raised in a way that they hate me. They literally like were raised to hate me. I can't make them like me, and like, honestly, I think they're bad people if they're if like if somehow I'm the bad guy in this situation. I don't think I did anything to warrant this, but goddamn, I'm going to do everything I can to finish it. And if that means manifesting the power of Yahweh God and becoming the one on the throne, yo. And I would suggest also, since we're looking at Beyonce, Jay-Z seems to have a desire to watch the throne. I don't think he's talking about any other throne other than the throne of Yahweh that, all these, I think, usurpers and knockoffs want to steal. But anyway, so, like, I'm not going to go like the whole story in pictures. And I was doing this a little more in March and April. It is tiring to make these videos also. Uh, and like it gets me distracted from doing the things that I'm doing to stay kind of distracted, or like to, as I'm working on these mixes as like a form of defense, where it's like at least I'm creating art about this situation that, like, whatever it is, I think I come out at the end like the art is powerful and is effective to like help with this, because I'm not gonna fight physically my way out of this. However, I think this, the art thing, like making a point artistically, and then Yahweh, like, Yahweh kills Jezebel, like is written in the second and third chapters of Revelation. And in the second chapter, Revelation 2:20 talks about Jezebel. Well, that's what I'm talking about. This woman who is Jezebel, um, who I think is Alessandra Ambrosio. That's my best guess. I don't think she's on my team. I don't think she's my friend. I don't think she's a good person. I think she's an evil piece of shit rapist who's literally in the last period of her reality. And, you know, I don't want that to be the case. That's just what it is, I think. That's what it looks like. I don't see that changing. And it seems like a bunch of other women also that I've brought up in these are actively participating in this harassment, which I would also suggest seems a lot like when you go to. So I'm gonna pull up the Book of Daniel real fast. It actually, there seems to be a court case where something is allowing some kind of thing to harass the saints of the Most High, and I think that's part of the idea of what's going on here. So if you give me one moment to just pull this up here, when it talks about, like the horns and stuff. This is actually the period, and so this is what it's talking about in the Book of Revelation. Like this period of time and this situation is what's going on. That's why Revelation is referenced in these things. But that and here's Revelation 7:13. I gazed into the visions of the night, and I saw coming on the clouds of heaven one like a son of man. He came to the one of great age and was led into his presence. So when you come down here and it talks about the horns and this is like the part from Revelation 13 where the thing 12 and 13, and I guess also Revelation 11, the 1260 days. But there's this like beast or like this symbolic thing that seems to be like a, I don't know, some empire of people different from all the rest. So maybe it's not like a, it might not be based on nations. It could be like some other group of people, but very terrifying with iron teeth and bronze claws. Almost sounds mechanical. Eating, crushing, and trampling underfoot what remained. Truth about 10 heads on its horns, and blah, 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 blah. And it is allowed to harass, like, it says it was full of boasts and it made a greater show than the other horns. This was the horn I had watched making war on the saints, proving the stronger until the coming of the one of great age, who gave judgment in favor of the saints of the Most High, uh, when the time came for the saints to take over the kingdom. That would be like the entire world, the kingdom of heaven. The fourth beast is to be a fourth kingdom on earth, different from all the other kingdoms. It'll trample the whole earth, devour the whole earth, trample it underfoot, crush it. As for the 10 horns, from this kingdom will rise 10 kings. You can read about this in Revelation 17. Oh, here it is, 17:12. And another after them. This one will be different from the previous ones. It will bring down the three kings, the three horns earlier, and so that's the other, horn sprouting from it. He's going to speak words against the Most High and harass the saints of the Most High. He'll consider changing seasons and law, and the saints will be put into his power for a time, 2 times and a half times. So 1260 days, 3.5 years, 42 months. That's the same period described in Revelation. Revelation like 11 for the 1260 days, or 42 months. Revelation 12 and 13 for that same period of time. It's also talking about the same period of time. But a court will be held, and his power will be stripped from him, consumed and utterly destroyed, and then I think he's thrown into a burning lake, or a conflagration flame, as it's described up here. His body is destroyed. He's committed to the flames. Um, and sovereignty and kingship and the splendors of all the kingdoms under heaven will be given to the people of the saints of the Most High. His sovereignty is an eternal sovereignty, and every nation will serve and obey him. So, it's essentially the thing that the reason I'm bringing this up is I think there's something that's able to, it says harass the saints of the Most High, and I think the idea is whatever it is, I don't think it can get to me to kill me, but I think it can harass me in a way that is fucking evil and unacceptable to such a degree that, like, again, my suggestion is this woman, Alessandra Ambrosio, like, I'm the father of her children, and she did it without, like, without my consent. I believe that's rape. I think she's a rapist. I think she's a piece of shit for that. I don't. I think these kids were raised to like hate me, and I think there's porn of the kids, and I think there's maybe even porn of her with the kids, and I think the in it. I believe it's guarded first of all by it's hard to believe, and like it um as are all these things with like Diddy and what he was doing, and Jeffrey Epstein, and what these celebrities and stuff are doing. Okay, well, I think there's groups of women doing the same thing, it seems, and like this might even be connected to that, seemingly with Beyonce and Jay-Z participating as heavily as they clearly are. So it just seems like more of this bullshit where like kind of celebrities have like lost their fucking mind and are acting just super evil. And I think it's something that's trying to use that to take over, that they thought that they could take over. I mean, was it Russia? Is it Russia or something? Like, this always comes down to like some bullshit like that. It's like, it's always like, what is it? Or is it, like some kind of American rape attack on like, well, we can't kill our own citizen, but we can do this evil shit, and if we do it with contractors, it's like plausibly deniable. It's not going to get back to us, except if Yahweh wants it to get back to you, it will. If you did it, I mean, I'll let Yahweh, bridge that gap. But I mean, like, I think whoever did this fucked up beyond their capacity to understand how much they fucked up, and like, they're essentially, it's just we're just waiting on them to go into infinite burning torture. And so, like, as I'm making art about this, uh, because it's like, well, all they can do is kind of brag about their evil, and then, but I can make art out of how pathetic and like evil and abusive it is, but also ineffectual. Um, so that's what I'm doing. That's why the art stuff. That's why the story and pictures. The story and pictures more for my own kind of records, but the music mixes and maybe even these videos and just trying to make certain artistic points with it. But I don't care if you believe any of this either. Like, you know, I can't tell the whole situation. I can just tell that something's happening that is seemingly unbelievable until it just very clearly is still persisting in a way that like it wouldn't be if it like these people would not be focused or paying attention or signaling at all in me like at me. I would not be able to draw up these patterns repeatedly if something wasn't going on. So again, I think it's a coordinated effort by a group of people to harass me using women's sexuality, uh, trying to like leapfrog me to any woman that I might like, use that woman to like beat me over the head with her sexuality, feed her a bunch of lies about like what I want out of things or whatever, and like ultimately make the world worse for that woman and other women, every other woman. It's empowering all the evil rapist shit that men do. It for men. This is why there isn't like a world where you actually can just have a partner that you love. That's not a you got to worry about and all this shit. Like, you think that any of this is happening in the kingdom of heaven? No, it's just not. Like, there's a reason it's called the kingdom of heaven. You don't have these concerns. Um, okay, so let's just start this. And what I've been saying basically is, I think these women are evil, and there's none good but God according to the Bible. But I think these women are super fucking evil. It ain't even like I'm not just like, oh, they're kind of evil. Also, I'm sure there's new videos and like they could have made posts today, which might even be relevant. I'm not gonna go look at their posts right now. I check these posts at like nighttime when I'm about to go to bed. That's when I'll check today's post by Alessandra and Beyonce and whoever else, if I think that it's worthwhile to like go back and like make a part two to this. Then this will be part one, and I'll make a part two or something. But okay, so like the first thing that I wanted to point up is that like if you go back here, I posted up I basically this thing on May 8th. Here, by sacrifice to idols, because I've talked about this fourth church thing for a while. It's only gotten more like, oh, these are my kids. Well, this makes sense of why this is even more fucking evil. But okay, by sacrifice to idols, the suggestion is that Anja and Alessandra were casting couched into my reality, or that there are sex tapes slash porn of them, maybe with a person or people that I know, or with these celebrities that won't leave me the fuck alone, Beyonce, or with my or their family, or friends, and something is legally allowing them to continue harassing me despite the fact that it's a rape trap. Like, any like reasonable thing, authority would stop what they're doing. Um, causing causing disasters and cancer. You can see the numerous videos. Like, it seems like a lot of the crazy weather cataclysms and stuff, and earthquakes and stuff, you can just track in my story and pictures, like what's going on with my reality and what's going on now. Like right now, the Hurricane Helene happened immediately after I've made these videos and posted them on my YouTube channel. Right. So let's go back and look at this real fast. If we go to view my channel, oh, here's this video about me having lightning powers, where I seem to be able to do this repeatedly during my lightning lab experiments, where I can somehow affect the weather. So I would suggest the thing that I'm talking about with the weather going crazy and like, causing these problems is like kind of like, should suggest that what I'm saying, where if you come back, I don't know, here, Alessandra and Anja Ambrosio Wilkins' deadly tornado outbreak, or here's the point where I was like, I don't know. There's a point about me talking about Alessandra and Anja Ambrosio, and then I ask if they're my dogs. Oh, here, are they a trap or my dogs? And then it looks like the suggestion is, she started posting stuff with dog filters. It looks like aimed at me to communicate at me in a way that's plausibly deniable. She's suggesting dog, but I think she's just a rape trap, and like I think all these people are fucking evil, and I hate all of this. And I want to say I don't hate people. Like, I generally don't want to hate people. I kind of fucking hate these people. Like Alessandra Ambrosio, like she's just like all the worst about women. That everything that I would never want to have to go through, she's put me through, and it's not worth it. It's not worth it for any woman. It's not worth it for her. Like, it's not worth it to go through any of this. I don't care what she went through that made her think that it was all right to put me. No, you're a fucking rapist piece of shit, and I hate you. But anyway, am I the father of Alessandra Ambrosio's kids? Part 1 and 2, and then showing my parents know Ambrosio. Uh, uh, Looks like me, and then all of a sudden, Hurricane Helene happens. Right, like right after this. This week. This is the week that it happens. So like, basically, if you're looking at this story, the week that I like bring out and then show these pictures where it looks like I'm related to Alessandra Ambrosio's kids. Whether again, it's some kind of thing where, I mean, are they my cousins because she's fucked my cousins or something? I don't know, but it just appears there's something evil about it. And Alessandra Ambrosio's fan, and like I've even pointed out in those. I mean, am I the father of Aline Ambrosio? So Alessandra's sister's kids, and they're keeping them hostage in fucking Brazil. And this is what the Brazil kind of the whole thing with that Supreme Court justice is it's really just these. It's like some kind of sideshow where they're like, we've raped an American citizen, extracted their kids, and are holding my kids hostage in Brazil, because that's what it looks like. And it looks like the stuff about what hot X or whatever was just some kind of like way to I don't know, the Brazilian Supreme Court, some kind of BRICS, like BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, whoever else is part of BRICS. It looks like some kind of like Russian attack on me or something. You know what I mean? And I'm an American citizen, and like these are governments doing bullshit that I really don't care about. And like the reason I care about this is that it attacked me for no fucking reason. or for bad reasons. My guess is they have a reason and it's just wrong, but they just went with it and they don't want to admit that they were wrong. Very clearly, Yahweh is making a point that they were wrong. Like, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. And then the American government is allowing this for some reason to happen to me. Maybe because they're bribed off and corrupt and like I don't know. People are stupid. It's easy to trick people, and this like people don't realize the whole Palestine Israel thing. It's like Palestine is Russian propaganda. It's Arabs pretending to be Philistines. And like empowered by the KGB in the '60s, created the Palestinian Liberation Organization, like using Yasser Arafat, who is a Marxist, also friend of Antonio Gutierrez, head of the UN. Which seems to make sense to why the UN treats Israel like shit. It's because the head of the UN is literally like, biased against it because his friends are like the terrorists that are doing all this Islamic terror, and it's just a bunch of Arabs acting really fucking wild, empowered by Russians. If you don't, if you're like Russia and Palestine aren't the same thing, by the way, this got into Israel versus Palestine. This always everything always these days somehow falls into Israel versus Palestine. I don't fucking get it. It might even be, well, we'll look at the thing because the polo thing might suggest certain Palestinians, certain Arabs pretending to be Philistines here in America that are like, wealthy, that have been harassing me for a while, and I have to make a point about it, and they're trying to make points back to me. But okay, Russia, a Russian airbase was airstruck recently, like in the last week, by Israel. It's because Russia is on that side, right? Right? You get that? Russia is not on Israel's side, in no way. You know what I mean? So the same people are like, Ukraine, but they're also going, Gaza. It's like, no, you have two different. You're trying to go for two different sides in this fight. Ukraine is like on the U.S. side, right, along with fucking Israel here, and on the Russian side, literally propped up by the KGB in the '60s, and probably even more stuff going on now, is Palestine and Russia literally attacking Ukraine. So like they're on the same side. So in any instance, this is all. It's all just like, is it something connected to that? I'm still trying to figure out, like, what the fuck could have been your reasoning, your decision? What was your decision as to why this was something you wanted to do to me? Like, it doesn't logic out for any good reason that I can come up with. But I did want to point out, like, look how like you can go back through these and you could see in my story and pictures, like, all the crazy tornadic outbreak stuff when I was bringing like Beyonce and Fernanda Moda up, and like, it wasn't that long ago. It's like literally in April, right? This is still going on. Like nothing has changed. The only thing that's changed is these people have got like it's become more and more obvious and just outright there are a bunch of people watching this, participating in it. Seemingly, the American government is allowing it to happen. Again, I don't know if it's because the American government's been like infiltrated by these things. Like I don't fucking know Joe Biden's not participating. I don't know that any president that's been in power since like 2008, uh, or even before then, isn't and wasn't participating in this. Uh, but it does very clearly appear to be happening. So okay, I just wanted to bring that up because like, why don't we look at this actually? Oh hey, it's a Category 5 hurricane. We haven't had something like this since 2005. Literally, there hasn't been. It seemed like up until that point in 2005, there was like a bunch of hurricanes, Katrina, Rita, all these hurricanes that were happening. And then I think whatever this attack is, they took it to another, like they were allowed to take it to another level. And, I think it affected me really significantly. Um, but like, there's nothing I can do about it then, um, for various reasons. But like, having let it happen and then basically, catching it and pulling it out into the light that this has happened, I think this is just coming back, and they aren't going to be able to stop it now because it's clearly that they have done this. Um, so category five Milton, you know what I mean? I'd also suggest like, the storm stuff when I in various times has gotten fucking super wild and like destructive since I've started trying to pull out and figuring out what exactly has happened. But okay, the reason I brought that up, I bring up here the sacrifice to idols thing that's in reference to Revelation uh, chapter 2, the third church and the fourth church. Both of them talk about like a trap that's been set. And again, I think that I've run into that trap and that it involves whatever has happened with Alessandra and Anja Ambrosio. Again, I think Anja Ambrosio is literally my daughter. In order for that to have happened, they would have had to have like bred me when I without my permission or consent, or trying to not do it without my knowledge. I think part of me knew, and just like there's nothing I could do other than let it happen and then come back at the end and get revenge while it's cold. So the sacrifice to idols thing is some group of men and or women have been like, I think they were Alessandra was given to them, and she's connected to me. She's my wife, or she's connected herself to me, and reasonably she should just like come in and hey, we're married now, or what? I don't know, something. But instead, it's like make a nightmare out of our connection. Like make it everything I wouldn't want. Again, it's rape. I'm like, I understand they're trying to make it as evil as possible. It's about control, not really as much sexuality, right? So, because these people in their actual life, they don't have powers. They don't have really control. All they can do is do evil things to people and like gloat over it, and they feel in control, but they aren't, So okay, I posted that about the casting couch thing, and then only a few days ago up here, uh, like she posted this stuff where again I think it's just you know bragging about men that have taken nude photos of her or like essentially stripped the mother of my children naked and like are trying to make me uncomfortable with that because it's not something I would want. It's not something I do want, right? And so the fact that this woman Alessandra Ambrosio is still being allowed, like the U.S. government, I think knows about this. They know it's killing people, causing billions of dollars in damage. They still aren't doing anything about it. In fact, it seems like they're trying to cover up the fact that they've known about it and or participated in it. That's gonna fucking end. Like I don't care how powerful you think you are. God, Yahweh, is infinitely more powerful. So when he decides he's gonna end this, it's done. Jesus is gonna put his hand on it and go, nope, y'all are done. But I think the point of this, it's uncomfortable, right? She would have already been the mother of my children at this point, and she's just with some random fucking dude, like doing stuff with him, like taking naked pictures, being on his book, which I think is a slight at me calling me a shallow man, or I don't know, that she's like fucking shallow man or something. And notice how she's pointing at her ring. It's just to be uncomfortable to me because these women are like I don't know. I want to say evil, but that's not like I don't even think that's just a good term for that. Like fooled. I think they're literally like these are the people that if you had your senses, would be like, oh, those are the bad guys. Matt's the guy, the good guy that I would want to be, connected to. You clearly wanted to be connected to me enough to have my children. The fact that you're like acting like this is like, well, then you just wanted to rape me. I mean, that's like, I I don't like any of this. But They don't care what I like. That's the whole point. That's what's rape. Okay, going on. But at the bottom of these pictures, where again they did strip her and like Irina Shayk and her friend Anna Beatrice, which I think her husband's a gay dude, and I think these people are they want to be like they're living fake lives, trying to pretend like something because they don't want to get caught, but no one's trying to catch you. Like whatever bullshit lies, you're the evil people that are causing everybody problems. This is why it'll be fine when you're ultimately dealt with. It's going to be obviously you're dealt with by God because it's going to be it's going to play out the way Revelation 2 22 222 220 through the end of what it's talking about Theatira through the end of the chapter. It's gonna what it says there's gonna happen. Like I think Alessandra Ambrosio is gonna die in front of everybody, along with her kids. They don't seem like my kids. That's why I think it says Jezebel and her children, because like doesn't seem like they're my children. It seems like they're just they don't want anything to do with me. They want to pretend that some other random dude is their dad. I like it's evil enough. You've already done me wrong. The best thing I can do for myself, for everybody, for the side of all good, is to like back away. You're evil. Just let you die. Like you're gonna be the bad guy in front of everybody. You gave up being queen of existence in the universe to be a rapist piece of shit. That's Alessandra Ambrosio. That's her reality. I don't know. I don't know why. Don't let people trick you. That's all I can say. But the reason I bring this up is that I brought up the casting couch thing, and I've also brought up in my previous video. I think there's a 5 month. So if you go back October, it would just be going back 5 months. Oh, hey, guess where we are, right? Oh, hey, it's this random dude, Rich Lee, that you know, she wanted to make a point of like, and he's also wearing one of those keffiyeh or whatever. Like again, this is why I think this is this like a Simi Hayes? Like, are they did the government allow Simi Hayes or whatever the fuck the Qadra family, this dumbass group of Palestinian like anybody who's supporting the Palestinian cause? I think you're dumbasses or liars. So both the whole these Arabs pretending to be Philistines because they want to I don't know they don't like America or something. And so it's all right for these people to attack me and literally rape away my reality. This dude, when it describes also the people that Jezebel is, all her partners in adultery are going to be essentially to the point of death, brought into great tribulation until they repent. I think this dude's fucked. I think he's thrown his life away to be a rapist piece of shit along with these rapist pieces of shit. And like, fuck you. I don't. There's no forgiveness for this. Yahweh has decided like y'all are all dead. You're like evil pieces of shit. Yahweh's gonna deal with you. Okay. I can't force the point when Yahweh decides that's what he wants to do. I also think Brittany Orlando, Brittany Deor Bagoso or something. I think she has something to do with this too. And I think when she lied to the police along with these other people that are actively participating in this thing that I'm talking about, that the police, who also seem to know about it, willingly decided to like play in and like listen to their lies and then double down on the evil. So like while these people are playing this game where they've literally raped me, these women lied to the police, and which is the oh hey that's the second church slander. You get slandered by a synagogue of Satan or some group of people that believes in Satan instead of Yahweh God, and is trying to like I guess defeat the guy on the throne of Jesus. I would suggest any false deity like Allah is going to be Satan, so it could be anything like that. But take it as it is. But yeah, May 8th, right? This is exactly 5 months ago. You go here. Oh, hey, May 8th. I mean October 8th. And again, so this was on the 5th. Um, is when I originally had posted this, but I reposted this here just because I wanted to make this point. Like, yep, whoopsie. Uh, you go here and it very clearly says casting couch, and I don't know. This guy seems to be like kind of obsessed with whatever this like photo shoot was. So maybe maybe it was a casting couch thing, and again, the whole point is to just be uncomfortable, but to like make me uncomfortable. There's no love involved. Like these people don't have love in them. They don't even know what love is. It's just like they're just animals that are like living out robotic kind of fucking scripted behaviors. Is what it honestly. That's what it seems like to me. But you know, I just seem to be the guy who's actually exists and maybe is player one to some kind of fucking thing. And if you are on the side of Jesus and you believe in him, you can be have that same spirit too, and not be caught as some kind of scripted NPC acting like a fucking rapist. But that's what it appears to me Alessandra Ambrosio is. And all these people who are empowering this fucking rapey bullshit. But you know how it says casting couch there, and the idea of the casting couch is like women being offered roles and money and like the whoever's casting them or like a spot in a thing, and they in order to get the position that they're trying to get they have to do some kind of sexual thing on camera or something. I'm pretty sure that's what's being suggested here. uh Whether or not it happened, I don't know, but I can say, so this is what I said on May 8th. I posted the note next to this one about Alessandra and Anja being casting couched, and based on the post next to that, it appears I was correct, as the first hashtag is hashtag casting couch. Alessandra and Beyonce's recent posts about polo and horse racing look coordinated, and the imagery seems to be suggesting multiple men and women riding, meaning fucking, Alessandra like she's a horse. Alessandra bred me without my consent, literally rape, and is trying to use that connection to hurt me by bragging about fucking other men, vomiting emojis. So, that's what this is. That's who these people are. Like, it's not a surprise to me. It's just a surprise kind of that it's still going on. I figured Yahweh would deal with it. It does seem to suggest at the fourth church in Revelation when you read it, that it goes on for a while. It's been going on at least like 16 years, and I think I've even like there's a suggestion since 2002. I mean, specifically about maybe like her being involved in this. So you know, and probably before then, but I just think it's like getting more and more obvious. So okay, I'm sharing this every day because like I think she's Jezebel. I think everything about this is evil and I want it to end. And if this is what I have to do and just be like double triple down on she is not a good person, she's not my friend, she's not going to be here for me, she's not going to be helpful, she's an evil rapist piece of shit woman who does not deserve anything good, and I make that very abundantly clear, and it's like you ain't never like I'm done. I just want to see you die. Like that is all that I want from this. I don't want to see anything good for you or your family. You aren't good people. You are terrible fucking evil people who need to go away. And so that's what me posting this every day since April 28th. When I started posting something similar, it was, you know, by like I think June. So the Anja's best friend's mom had cancer by June. And like the first day I started posting it was when they were on vacation with her. So like, the idea of it affecting the people that are close to Alessandra Ambrosio and Anja and their family, like I think that hits right on point. I would not be. I've seen some recent pictures of Alessandra that were not like that didn't have a filter on them, that she didn't take, that were like taken by news or whatever, the stock photographers that go out there. And when there's not a filter and whatever, Alessandra's looking fucking tired, to say the least. Like I think she looks bad as far as her health is concerned, and that she's just covering it up. And like when we go through this and she's like all smiling and stuff, like the best equivalent I can give you is like how Hassan Nasrallah, like right up to the day he got drone struck and is just gone, right? I say drone struck, missile bombed into oblivion. Till the day he was here and then he's gone. Right up to that point, sitting here just beating his chest, bragging about whatever. Same thing with all these fucking Muslim terrorists until they're just fucking dead. Okay, well, I think the same thing is going on with these people. I mean, Beyonce is literally wannabe Nation of Islam people. I wouldn't put it past these people. Remember, Nation of Islam, these Arabs own more black people in slavery, and it's affirmed by their religion. Whereas in the Bible, when they tried to do this in America, they had to take out half the Bible for that to be something that could fly. And the Bible says if you take out things, like Revelation very clearly says, if you take anything out of this or put anything into this, I'm going to take that part out, your place out of the, what is it, the kingdom of heaven, and I'm going to all the plagues and stuff that are written will be added to you, so it'll happen to you if you try to cut it out. So, that is kind of what Islam tries to do by making the Quran. But in any instance, it's not something that you see Christians doing. Anybody claiming to be a Christian slave owner is a liar, a hypocrite, or bullshitter. They aren't a Christian. Anybody that you see being a Muslim slave owner, it's par for the course. It's literally written in the Quran. You can do that. Muhammad and Ali both owned black slaves, talk shit about black people, and yet here are these black people kissing these Arabs' ass like, I don't know. So, money makes you do stupid and evil shit. I think money has made these people do stupid and evil shit. So, what? Nation of Islam doesn't care about. I mean, Nation of Islam cares about black people because it's just a black knockoff of Islam. Islam's a knockoff of fucking the Bible. So I just I don't understand the Islam stuff, but I'm doing this like I don't know, I don't get it. It's stupid. It's like the stupidest book I've ever read. It clearly reads poorly. It reads like an illiterate caravan robber wrote it. I mean, that's who's suggested to have written it. So I'm not surprised. Um, let's go up. I do have a positive and good affirmations. So these are the affirmations that I'm also doing every day. So and the omega thing is to just hammer in the point. That's it. The alpha and the omega, right? I'm one or the other, and I think by the end of this, I'm gonna be both. And there you go. And if I am going to be both, I always was going to be, and always was. He who is, was, and will be. Yeah. I mean, like it's not. I'm not gonna go over that anymore. But okay, so let's just go up to the top of like. Here's October 7th. Another thing that I wanted to point out is this looks kind of like the only other polo stuff in my story and pictures. I think you'll find with Simi Hayes Kadra, Sama and Haya Kadra, where their brother is playing polo. I don't know if this is to try to suggest because I have pointed out recently, like I've basically like pointed out that they're just bullshit liars and evil people and like hold on, pulling up Twitter or X or whatever it's called these days. Um, it's just going really slow. It's been going really slow recently. I don't know what's been going on. It's almost like it's being throttled down by something, but it's constantly. I mean, it's going so slow. It's like not even opening up. So, Twitter. No, neither of it. You could go to Twitter or X. It's just doing. This is all you get. So I don't. You know what I mean? Like it's just not even loading. Which again has been happening a lot recently. I don't know whether their servers suck these days, but also I think they made likes private because I was liking things and people are looking at my account and they wanted to keep it private or something because it's they did that immediately after I started liking a bunch of stuff in order to like have a public thing of the things that are going on. I don't post every day. I don't repost everything that I see, or even repost everything that I see. Okay, I do like. Look, I'll leave that going, but it doesn't seem to want to pull up. So my point with this is like, you can go back through my story and pictures, and the only other instance of polo that I can think of is Noor Qadra, Salman Qadra's brother, plan. So, I mean, is this a literal Muslim terrorist attack, and these people are just that fucking arrogant and evil that they would like? They're trying to brag about this woman who raped me, and they are participating in it, which literally does make it a Muslim terrorist attack on a U.S. citizen, and being empowered by foreign nations, and the U.S. government is still participating, or allowing it, or is it a U.S. government attack, and that's why nothing has been done? And like, there seems to be a big cover up around this because it's one of the two. But like, I don't know. It seems retarded in any instance, and I specifically mean that word because I also think they're trying to insinuate some other stuff where like, is she having sex with a retarded guy to like, I don't know, make some evil rapist point to me? And it's like, well, I think, Yahweh can fix anything. So I think part of the point is, well, that's why it is as it is that you're doing this evil shit. And why would Yahweh be good to anybody if this is the state of humanity? But asking him to be good to me so that we end this shit, because this is like, it's pretty unbearable. But I think I think I'm doing an all right job. It's to be honest, it's laughable. Like I clearly am laughing, but like it's not fun on the like it's not fun. But I think I'm strong enough and like stupid enough myself, retarded enough myself that I'm like getting through it just fine. Or maybe not just fine. It's not easy. It's just I don't think it's what they expected. I think probably you do this to someone, they fucking kill themselves. Uh, which I would also suggest. I think they did this to certain people before, like artists that are well known, and those artists fucking killed themselves. Uh, and that's what that was. But I can't prove that. I can barely, I can prove that there's some a pattern of something. I just, it'd be reasonable if that large intelligence apparatus that the United States has for seemingly no reason these days, but it'd be, I mean, there's a clear reason, but I would suggest like, hey, maybe this is like a bigger deal than you're giving it like credence, and you should probably help me and just do what I'm asking. Like, again, it seems like something is giving whatever this thing is. I'll point this way. Whatever this thing is that's doing this, some kind of immunity, like governmental immunity, whether sovereign or like in the U.S. the government can have immunity, uh, in order to like keep it going. So, and I think the idea is what the Bible is suggesting is it is killing and hurting, it's costing a lot of money. It's killing and hurting way more people than these people like than is acceptable. And like, I guess the only thing is like something took over our government and seems to be doing this because like, and I don't think it matters red or blue. I think it's happening. If Trump gets into office, Kamala gets into office. I think it's happening regardless. I don't think the president is like, they're a figurehead clearly, but like it's to the point where like essentially they're actively participating by knowing about it and not doing anything. That's what it feels like. Prove me wrong, but that's what it feels like and seems like. I mean, they might have just actively participated. They might be the one using this woman to rape away my reality. This might be some kind of fucking secret service, like, it saw me as a threat or something to their power, and it's like, But at the end of this, one of my points that I've been making, you can go to my Twitter, which let me pull that up again. Uh, my whole thing about that was like, am I the 48th president? Like, actually? And so then it hit itself essentially. It like team killed me, so like it's gonna commit harikiri and go away or something. That's what it should do, but anyway. All right, so since it's going really slow, but you can see here I've pointed out Sama and Hayakadra quite a bit, and you know, I guess I scared them off Twitter or something. this is also what I mean by like when you're looking at this and like this is what I'm talking about by like these idiots like beating their chest and then all of a sudden he's just Nasrallah is still in command. This dude's dead. You know what I mean? And I'm also going to point. Was this something to point out? This guy, like, I want to point this out. This guy looks like Jamie Mazur or the guy that they're trying to pass off as Alessandra Ambrosio's ex fiance, who's like the father, supposedly the father of Andre Ambrosio. I think it was just the dude that they had raping my kid for, whatever, since she was a baby or something. This is just my guess because I think this is some kind of terrorist attack, and I think these people are trying to be terrorists. And I think the idea is Yahweh is supposed to be scary, and it's just inherently scary. And if I'm the dude on the throne, because whatever the reason was gonna be, I looked scary, and then they did this, and then they realized like, oh, this is probably Yahweh on the throne. This guy is probably the guy from the end of the Bible, and then they think it's like I don't know some kind of American government thing, and the American government's seemingly letting it happen. So I'm getting railroaded on every side, and like ultimately God himself is going to give me the authority to end this and make it very clear that this was wrong and that government's going to have to make up for it to me. So like I actually also think the thing with the witnesses is like two Israeli leaders or two American leaders or something uh like being forced to repent and like engage, like you will die and everything will be destroyed, like everything you've ever worked for in your life will be destroyed and upended. And like if you're a former president, like what you've done in the darkness is going to come out and destroy you. So I think that's one of the reasons why these people are scared, is because they've done evil things in the darkness. So black ops, they've done, this seems like some kind of black op they ran against me, an American citizen, for what? Like I'm trying to figure out who this is. Like who the fuck attacked me? I think the only way that it could still be going on like it is here in America is if the U.S. government was participating. So I'm just like, it literally is kind of like because it's been going on for years, and I've been saying things about it, and the police did get involved, and seemingly the people who were clearly doing evil shit then were like listened to instead of me, and like it still didn't work. The only thing is when they had me in the jail, massive earthquake happened in California. It became really obvious, and like volcanic events that killed people, and the weather shit kicked up to extremes, and it became a very obvious that if Yahweh wanted to, he could end it like that. But he's like waiting to some kind of point, and it does seem that point is connected to Israel, if I had to guess. So it seems something like that. But okay, I just wanted to bring this up. Um, this guy, real fast, before we move on. Right? I mean, I had even said in the, like, I bring it up in this. You can pause this here, but I brought up how I think this guy looks Mediterranean or something. Uh, and is this the IP for fucking Metal Gear Solid? This is V and Ishmael and whatever the I mean, I don't know, but I don't think that's her father. Like actually, I think this is some dude raping my child, and she's like biologically my child. That's what in her hat. What you can see says Dom on it. So, the whole Balenciaga stuff that was going, like where they're talking about child BDSM porn. I think that's what they did to Andra Ambrosio. Just my guess, but it does seem likely considering there's some kind of fucking weird evil shit going on towards me. I can't see what's going on behind the scenes. I can only make assumptions based on like what I can see is going on, like with the Diddy stuff and the Epstein stuff and the, just like I have a brain, and do well, I have something that I'm using to like figure out. But yeah, I mean, look, they look like they could be brothers, literally. I mean, it looks like that could be the same fucking guy, actually. So, this is another reason why I'm like, is this a terrorist attack? I will say when I was like before I posted all this and like up in this section, this is like when was it where all these terrorists are getting drone struck into fucking nothingness? Also, is there a Detroit Tigers sticker on here? I mean, is this because of fucking sports stuff and people don't like Houston sports and they've gone to some really evil level of like, oh, Matt Wilkins is the avatar for Houston sports, so let's like kill him. I mean, is that has America turned into some bullshit like that? Like, I'm trying to figure out what dystopian future do we live in? Because we live in some kind of fucking dystopian future. What exactly is it? Seems like a lot of evil things, so I'm just trying to figure that out. Okay, I guess I'll just finish this up because we're already over an hour, and I don't really want this to go that long. But this is already longer than I planned it to be. When you look at this, like one of the things I'm going to be saying is, if these are my kids, like if Anja and or Noah Ambrosio are my kids, she's kept them from me. Like these people have kept them from from my biological children from birth, and like have separated us and have like tried to beat me over the head with them. It seems, and like uh even if like I would suggest even if they aren't, which like that seems a lower probability these days than anything, because I don't there'd be no reason that these people are doing this still if that's the case. But the whole point was like I don't know, did she have children by multiple men to make me feel bad? Did she like the whole point is I think my suggestion was we've been connected for a long time and like it was a fake relation. The whole Jamie Mazur thing was a fake relationship, but that is clearly and abundantly the case to me if in fact Anja Ambrosio is my daughter, which you know it very well could be. Um and like hold on. Like, I think she does look a lot like me. I think the whole point was he was supposed to kind of look like me. And so the Jamie Mazur guy, which is why this is a little more difficult to figure out. But, if I have to guess, I think that probably Anja Ambrosio is my daughter and Noah Ambrosio is my son, which is really fucking evil because I've never been able to meet them. They seem to have been like, I don't know what Alessandra has taught them, but they seem to fucking hate me. Like they don't treat me like dad. They treat me bad. Specifically the other men that are like fake dad. They're like making points with and like it makes me feel terrible. And like I think that's the whole point. But I also think I get infinitely more for going through this, and they get infinite disgrace and like they're some of the most hated people to ever have existed when this proves out. So, I mean, that's I think the idea of Jezebel, and I think all these women that like, make appearances on my story and pictures, and I'm gonna keep this story and pictures going until the end. And I think the women that I've made a point to like make favorites and like whatever, I don't think any of them seem to be on my team or friendly to me or whatever, and they just show themselves friendly and then use that to beat me over the head like whatever. But I think part of my point is like when Alessandra dies, y'all are done. Like your lives are destroyed. When Jezebel dies, all these women. It even says about the men. Well, it says about her partners, which I think it uses the word partners because I think it's men and women. All these people, their lives are destroyed, and it's like it says pressure to the point of death. That's the idea until you repent nothing is going to be able to save you at that point. And like, other than repenting, and that would mean making it right to me, which, for most of these people, there's nothing you could do to make this right. If these are my kids, you can't give me that time back with them. You can't give me a relationship with them that makes any of this correct. You can only like I don't know. I would suggest you try. And even with Jezebel, the point is up until the end, up until she dies and her children die, which makes sense of this whole situation with them. Uh, Up until she and her children die, they're given the opportunity to repent and they don't. But I definitely think both of them look like me. There's no feature on either of them that like couldn't be me. I also want to point out again. I feel like this the only time I've ever seen Anja with this case is right here, and I think it's signifying Haley Bieber and something about Haley Bieber, who is another one of these women that over the past 7 years has been participating in this. And then this dude's wearing a U.S. Navy ring because I don't know because I don't think the U.S. Navy is that fucking stupid, but he could like he could be a veteran that like has it's like, oh, you vowed to protect America and then you're like a domestic terrorist or something. I don't put it past it. So whatever, these people are fucking evil. I say domestic, you're a terrorist that was a part of the military. It does seem like there's three frog spirits in the end that are demon spirits that call some situation together before Armageddon happens. You can take the frog symbolism how you will, but it seems to be like that some demon spirits, which are represented as frog spirits, you know, show themselves immediately before Armageddon happens. So that's in Revelation 16. You can go look it up. But yeah, I just think Anja looks a lot like me, and in the least, she looks like she's related to me. So whether it's me or my cousin or something, but I think like she just looks like me to me. She even like I think this is a good example of where she looks like me. But I also think the whole suggestion between where she looks like Daphne Keene. I think Daphne Keene was cast to look like Anja because I think the idea is like Anja's X-23 and I'm Wolverine. I think that's the idea, and like she's a clone of me that these people who are treating me like a lab experiment, and I can even like I think it's basically they have like a whole fake reality around me, and they're trying to use people that I like look at. So like this whole ASMR glow thing, like I think she's participating. ASMR fixing you, experiments on you. Well, if you were actually fixing me, you wouldn't do experiments on me. I think it's like people who've lost their fucking mind and think they're more important than they are, trying to psychologically abuse me and harass me. They think they're witches. I mean, she's really into witchcraft and wizardry. All these idiots think like I saw Chantel Jeffries posted like magic is real, and it's like, yeah, that was never in question whether magic was real. Secular people actually don't believe in that, but like in the Bible, it if you're Christian, magic is real. It's like I would suggest to secular people, it's like a backdoor way to like engage advanced realities and technology that isn't whatever, but that you can generally cause more bad than good if you don't know what you're doing, and nobody knows what they're doing. So for the most part, when people are doing it, even if they think they're good or they're like really well versed in it, they're causing problems that they can't not be causing. And in any instance, it's just like the Pharaoh's magicians up against Moses and Aaron. They throw down their staffs and they become snakes, and Aaron and Moses throw down their staffs and they don't just become snakes, they become dragons, and then they eat the snakes. So I think it's something like that. Like these people are trying to do magic towards me, and like that's maybe the Revelation 13. That might be the beast from the earth thing, the false prophet. He's like just a magician that's uh you know Islamic in origin. I know that's in the Quran, but the beast from the earth is in the Quran, Surah 2782 or something like that. I don't remember. I used to know it off my head, but They raise a beast from the earth. They can do all sorts of signs and wonders, which is it matches exactly what Revelation 13 says, except it's raised by Islam instead of being the enemy of God and Christ and all of humanity. So I believe it because I can see all these idiots who are like empowering Islam and like all these people marching like left wing people here in America marching for the most hardline right people on the fucking planet, Muslims. They are more conservative than anything that conservative Christians do or say. Only in the West with these like people on the left could be so unaware and like naive that they're tricked into believing these people and like these stories about like they aren't Palestinians, they're Arabs pretending to be Philistines. I mean that's what it is. Philistine is anglicized as Palestinian or Palestine or whatever, but I mean they're it's like the Bible's coming back to life and like they're just Israel's ancient enemy, the Philistines. That's the and they're Arabs. They aren't something else. The old Philistines weren't Arabs, but okay, that's not this video. I just clearly I'm like fucking anyway. I could talk about this a lot, but it just looks to me like look, I think these kids are my kids. I mean, I think they're biologically my kids. I don't think in the sense of like, well, if they're my kids, I should be able to like, here where me and my dad are hanging out. Well, I'm his kid for sure. There, right? Does that make sense? But like in these other situations, like here's me as Superman and Batman. Uh, the Superman one, I'm there with my dad. Maybe he's my Earth dad, like Joseph Kent, or maybe he's I don't know. I'm just kind of kidding around. But and then in the other one, I'm Batman, and I don't my parents aren't around, but I have a big bowl of candy, so I'm rich. Uh, but anyway, yeah, I think these are my kids, but this is just extra evil being that these are my kids. I mean, if that's the case, and like reasonably, like with this Milton happening, the way I look at it is this: if enough absurdly fucking wild weather things happen and they're clearly connected to my situation, it doesn't hurt me, right? It only validates what I'm saying. These things are happening because people are doing something fucking biblically evil to me for no good reason. For no reason that I can come up with other than they're evil pieces of shit. But like, I mean, it makes sense out of it. It makes sense out of this stuff in Revelation where that's what Revelation talks about. What do you think all the lightning and like hail falling on places and like extreme weather events? It's not talking like it does say it's time to destroy those who are destroying the earth, and it does suggest like the climate is changing. I just don't think it's like directly correlating it with greenhouse gases. I think it's basically saying like people are becoming so wicked that they aren't trying to, you know, undo anything. And like, I think all the people going for like environmentalist stuff, like seeing Greta Thunberg like change to like now she's like pro Palestine. She's not even talking about climate stuff anymore. It's just direct Russian propaganda. It's like as much hey, where I'm a puppet of the Russian government and like she didn't talk about China. They create more pollution than fucking anybody. She's not in China doing all this. She's in the West where people already are in the least trying to get better, but like the whole point is to like try to take control of the government through the climate change thing. Same thing with pretty much any fucking problem. But I will say it does seem to me like they're already like all these different interests are already exerting on the government in a way that the government's just so incompetent and fucking like problematic anyway. Like the American government should be like America should be able to do anything essentially, and we've hit like a wall where we can barely do basic things. And a lot of it just seems to be like the confusion and chaos caused by other countries trying to cause confusion and chaos in the US. and then take control of the American machine, which and they're fine with like destroying people's lives to try to do it, and which is having knock-on effects. Like I think a lot of the problems that people have had with America over the past like 20 or 30 years like has been directly related to that. Um like I think that was Osama bin Laden's goal, was to drag America into not an unwinnable war, but like basically to destroy whatever good image we had in the Middle East, to cut it, or wherever, and to make us look bad. So this, and the reason I'm talking about this kind of stuff is I don't think it's unrelated to whatever the fuck is going on with this. Like this feels like some kind of terrorist attack. Like the fact that you would breed me without my permission, and then like the suggestion that you're giving is that you're raping my kids, or that you're coming up with porn of my kids, or whatever the fuck evil bullshit they're being allowed by our government here in the United States is allowing, maybe has even perpetrated this, is like, fuck this and fuck that. I mean, this is why it's like, no, I'm gonna take control. Fuck you guys. Like, you guys, that is so fucking evil, and like infinite burning torture is all you're gonna get for it, and disgraced, terrible legacies. And it didn't work. You haven't defeated me. I mean, like, if anything, you only have proved out there's something supernatural going on around me on video, right? At this point, enough, yeah. Um, okay, so anyway, let's just look at this. This was yesterday's, so yesterday's post, or you know, when was this? I say yesterday. Maybe it was posted on the 7th. This stuff was posted on the 7th. Um, but I think the suggestion here, like, this is the imagery type stuff. First of all, you see the guy's watch. Like everything in these pictures is like in the frame for specific reasons. Same thing like in this one. Like I think the point is that they're jockeys, right? And this is what I was trying to say in that note that I read earlier. It's trying to suggest that she's the horse. I think people might even say she has a horse face. I think Alessandra Ambrosio is beautiful. I don't. Her beauty has never been in question for me. It's just whether she's a piece of shit rapist, and like she is. She's a piece of shit rapist. She raped. If those were my kids, she raped me. Like I think she's raping my kids. I think I don't exactly know what the fuck is going on because I can't be there because that's the whole point. This is how they're trying to disempower me. But I think it has something to do with using these kids in a way to fucking hurt me, and like using like my biological children, keeping them from ever being my kids really, and then just like I don't know, abusing them and I don't know, making a public show out of what you've done to me. But then if it's a public show and then you die like Jezebel, I get the Iron Rod, the Morning Star. You know, you've done the last thing you ever wanted to do. Turn me into Yahweh God. So if or Jesus, both they're the same character. So same person. You get what I'm saying? So you look at that. I think the suggestion here is like they're jockeys. She's kind of like horse, whatever featured. She has like kind of horse features. So I mean, even the jockey, I would say, kind of has horsey features. But you know that and they're wearing orange. I don't know if the suggestion is some dynamo thing or some kind of. I just know that the suggestion is that, first of all, the suggestion is this: she's done this. I've been talking about this for a long time. If she raped me and bred me, she like here's the thing: it's either she's gonna die or she's gonna be my slave and my dog. It doesn't look like she's either of those things now, so I think she's gonna die like it says Jezebel is gonna die. But this whole thing where the suggestion, she's going around essentially suggesting that she's, I think through the imagery thing, which I brought up in other videos. If you go to the top of the playlist that I think this video is going to be a part of, this video is going to be in the versus my mental health playlist thing. The top of the video is about Stephanie Jewston, a character named Quiet, who like silently communicates through like what's written on the wall behind her, whatever the fuck. And same thing with Girls Gone Bible. I think they're trying to make some kind of point that they could be like Christian religious figures while playing part in this. Um, because I'm pretty sure they're lesbians, and like I think the whole point or bi in the least, but they look like lesbians to me, and I think the whole point is that they're making a point that they can lie about what they are in a very public setting and abuse me while watching and participating in this thing that has literally raped me, stolen my children, is like raping and abusing my children. That's Girls Gone Bible. So, for all the Christians out here, please wake up. I mean, goddamn, like I can't force. It's like Jesus can't force you to do anything, but like he's trying to get you to wake the fuck up. Same here. Like, please, I can't force you currently to do anything. Jesus could force everybody to do anything. He'll force every knee to bend and bow, but like at the moment, until the point he does that, he's kind of like, hey, come on, like he's kind of being sweet and like kind and like merciful, right? But like there's a point where that ends and it's just we're done. Okay. So I think the suggestion is like I don't know, it even says C on the bag there and I think see what? I don't see anything other than you being like a terrible fucking person to me for no reason. And then trying to disguise it as you're doing something for me and like that I should be grateful, which is no, I'm not grateful. You aren't doing anything for me. You're a liar. You're a bad liar at that. You know. Um, One thing is this guy kind of looks like my friend Emilio, but he also kind of looks like John Oliver. So I don't know. Is there something with that? Is this a secret? Is this Emilio's secret dad or some bullshit or his older brother? I don't know. But also here looks like you can see this guy's dick, and I think this guy looks like he's basically has his hand on her ass, kind of, and is like right next to it. This dude's dick is there, and I think the whole point they're trying to suggest is like, I don't know, she's trying to suggest she's getting double teamed by dudes or triple teamed. I don't know. See, there's men behind her too, so triple teamed, I guess. Um, that's what it seems like it is. Um, and then I don't know. Like white picket fence. Like trying to suggest she's a 10 out of 10, or I can stand under her umbrella, or like Rihanna or something. And I don't know, did she something about Rihanna's kids or something? I don't know, some evil shit like that. Um, you B. I mean, is she suggesting I'm B? I'm the queen bee. 05. Remember I brought that number up. Will Rogers 05. Um, there's all sorts of things you can get from these, but like I can't. There's things that make sense up here, and it's like the idea is like whatever this is, it's almost like a Rorschach trying to get me to think of these uncomfortable things and points without communicating it verbally. Because if they did that too obviously, it would end because then it could just be straight out, flat out proven. We're past the point where I mean it's provable they're watching and participating in something. It's just no authority is like helping me, and is it seems like again the U.S. government is participating in this. I like prove me wrong, and prove me wrong. It needs to end. There's no way that this can and should be still going on. I think this is why these hurricanes are hitting. Like we're a day away from Hurricane Milton, which is like the third strongest hurricane ever in the Gulf of Mexico. And the last ones that were like this strong were around 2005. Oh, I guess maybe that's why that year would make sense. 05 as it said right here. But yeah. Let's see. Anything else? I mean, I don't know. You can get all sorts of stuff like that they're trying to signal. I can see that again like now he's the jockey that's on the horse. You get it? So it's like some. This is why I'm suggesting the thing in Revelation, like the. Here, we can pull up this and just watch the hurricane as it's coming. When it talks about so all these people, anybody that had problems, and Helene, anybody that had problems, that's going to have problems with Milton. When Beryl hit here in Houston, I was talking about this then. When there was catastrophic, the worst flooding and stuff ever that happened in Brazil and Rio Grande do Sul, Brazil, where Alessandra's from, where suggesting where her family still lives, the family that is holding what I think are my children hostage in Brazil. Okay, in that state in Brazil, the worst catastrophic flooding ever happened earlier this year. As soon as I brought up that this was going on, I've been slowly trying to pull this out. But when I started all this stuff, or when this stuff in April, when I'm talking about Anja Ambrosio being my dog, and then all of a sudden she has a dog filter on and is posting stuff with this dog filter on. Okay. Um, which this is why I think it says that her children die. It's because they aren't my children. They might be biologically, but they don't treat me like dad. They're trying to, the whole point is to use the fact that I am their dad, but that they're willing to give any other man, and in the same way like Alessandra is willing to cheat with like anybody and like fuck anybody in order to make some kind of evil rapist point to me after she literally already raped me, which is why, like, if they're my kids, uh which is why I think it's, this is basically like, I'm gonna like, look, nevertheless, I have a complaint to make. You're encouraging, or you forgive the woman Jezebel, who claims to be a prophetess, and by her teaching, she's luring my servants away to commit the adultery of eating food which has been sacrificed to idols. I don't know. It could be that Beyonce is using uh, Alessandra Ambrosio, or it could be Alessandra Ambrosio is using Beyonce, or some combination of the women that I've brought up in these videos before. I just like 100% Alessandra Ambrosio is involved in this situation. I just don't know the extent of it because I'm not an intelligence agency. Does that make sense? I'm a person. I'm a single person here in the United States who's been attacked in a god awful way, and literally the last line of defense I have is the Book of Revelation that seems to, suggest what I've been saying, and that, I'd even think I would suggest that it suggests that something is allowing it, and I think the group is the Nicolaitans. Um, that's doing this, some group of wealthy people that I think are just trying to steal from maybe even the we the people, because it's this group means victory over the people or victory of the people or something, to like overtake, I don't know, the people, like a person. You know what I mean? Like it's just people doing evil shit to try to steal away reality from, I'm going to suggest me to be, like, I can say that about, like, this is what they seem to be doing to me, but, and the idea of sacrifice to idols is like, I think it seems to me like Alessandra Ambrosio is just listening to some group of men or women, uh, or, Nicolaitans, like, that's what I'm thinking it is, that are, like, trying to come up with ideas of how to use her in ways which are difficult for me to take. But in every instance, I seem to then just be like flipping that back on its head and pointing it out and proving how this is directly out of the Book of Revelation. And I think a lot of people on the periphery of the situation are dying. And I think that, like, during this whole time, and I think that, like, I wouldn't be surprised if Alessandra Ambrosio or people in her family have started getting ill and, like, she's hiding it. I really believe, like, the pictures I've seen of her recently that were like not her posted, that she posted, but that other people posted, so they're not like doctored or anything. Um, they don't have filters and stuff on them. They aren't trying to make her look good or bad. They're just pictures. She looks stressed. She looks tired. You can see it in her face. She looks like, if I had to guess, whatever, like, what I'm doing is wearing on her. I think what she's doing is wearing on her, and I'm not gonna stop. And, like, I don't think she's planning on stopping, but I also don't think she would. Like, I think she's willing to ride this into the end because she's already a literal rapist. I think she's a piece of shit and an evil woman, and like, she deserves all the worst things. And I don't think her ego is gonna let her, or the kids, or anybody that's participated in this. I don't think, like, I think maybe a couple, like maybe a small amount of people, based on what's here, and based on like they're gonna see Jezebel die, and then they're gonna realize I'm gonna die in the infinite burning torture, and like give up a spot in a place where I could live forever in like literal paradise, where none of the problems that exist today are even like they're laughable problems. Like nothing. It is the kingdom of heaven, literally. And I gave that up to be a rapist piece of shit participating in a rape attack on an innocent person. And I keep using the word rape because all these women who want to claim this, that, or the other, uh, like Bella Hadid or whatever, they don't care about, preventing rape. They're evil. They're rapists. Some of them might have been raped by these evil men, and then they're helping those evil men because, I don't know, Stockholm syndrome or something. That's what it feels like has happened with these women. So, um, like Beyonce. I mean, Jay Z's clearly a gay dude. I think he's about to go down with the P Diddy stuff. I think she's about to go down with the P Diddy stuff. I think she might even see my situation as a way to get out of it, which it might even be, but not the way you're doing it. So I would suggest, like, you want to end this, you need to speak out publicly or something, because what you're doing now is just pissing me off. And it's like, you can die with Jezebel because I do not care. Anyway, we were looking at this picture. I just want to reiterate where we were at this, right? We were looking at this picture, right? And my point with this is where it's talking about, nevertheless, I have a complaint to make. You're encouraging the woman Jezebel, who claims to be a prophetess, and by her teaching, she's luring my servants away to commit the adultery of eating food which has been sacrificed to idols. This makes sense if Alessandra is the food sacrifice to idols, or if she's Jezebel, or maybe she's both. But in any instance, it makes sense if it's a euphemism for sexuality, and that she's cheating with a bunch of men and women to make some kind of rapist point that I don't control her, but she literally raped me and is like, I think, raping my children, and like or raping my biological children, which they aren't really my kids. I think is what this is suggesting. If like I don't actually get to be their dad, they're just her children. Now I'm consigning her to bed and all her partners in adultery to troubles that will test them severely. I mean, I think the suggestion here, when you actually read it in the Greek, is like, I'm gonna throw her on her deathbed, right? I'm consigning her to a sickbed where she will die, and all her partners in adultery to troubles, to pressure to the point of death that will test them severely unless they repent, change of mind, metanoia of their practices. Meta NOI, and maybe there's even a little O there. Is that for someone's initial, Olivia, or O, or is this it looks like a winky face with its mouth open, so maybe it's sucking some dick or something. I don't know, but uh, like, no, at this point, none of this surprised me. So, and I will see that her children P child porn. I mean, I think the suggestion is her children and there's porn of them is my suggestion. But I will see that her children die. So like Anja and Noah. Like, I think this is suggestion. This is a suggestion that Anja and Noah are gonna die. It also could be that, I guess, Lucilda Ambrosio, Anja's mom, is Jezebel, and that her children are Aline and Alessandra, considering it seems like they raped me, and like I have children with both of them, which, like, I mean, again, they're basically holding them hostage in both North and South America. So, look, in the United States and Brazil, there, I can't force much of the situation. I will say this: I'd even said in the previous video, where I discuss Alessandra and Bro, like, am I the father of Alessandra and Broder's kids, part 1 and 2? I talk about the girl that would have been like the first my first blowjob, who I think is where they would have had to gotten because the timeline, like the timing of that happening, and then Alessandra's pregnant and has Anja, I think is I think it lines up. And that was a girl named Nikki Dunn, Dunn, and then all of a sudden, who seemed to have been taunting this situation. I'd been wondering like why certain things, like her username was like Kitty Wakes Comics and stuff like that. Just like taunting. These people want to taunt like I'm a cat or something, which is like I like cats. I don't like dogs. I mean, I don't hate dogs. I like dogs. I just am more of a cat person. So I like dogs actually. Not rapist dogs like Alessandra Ambrosio because it seems like she's acting like a rapist fucking dog to me. But and her mom. I didn't, whatever. I've already brought this up in other videos, but with the Nikki Dunn thing, all of a sudden now Anja's going to a school called the Dunn School, and it's spelled exactly the same way. And that wouldn't brought up before she hadn't been. I don't think she had been going there prior to me posting in the least. Like they didn't post anything about where she was going to school. Um, Prior to me literally saying, "Hey, I think this girl with the exact same name. It's not a common name. Really, the only two places I've seen it are there, and then the guy who used to be on Jackass, Ryan Dunn. Those are the only three places that I've ever seen Dunn spelled like that. This girl, this school, so those two things connected, and then Ryan Dunn. I mean, it does seem like a bunch of celebrities have been acting like, vapid, evil piece of shit towards me in my reality. So I don't put it past the Jackass guys doing that too. So it's just the sad reality that, like, all these idols and all these celebrities and stuff have been acting in like god awful ways, which is just destroying humanity, is destroying, like, literally the planet is like reacting. I don't think the climate change is happening because of uh like I said, the greenhouse gas emissions. I'm pretty sure it's, even like one of the things that I would suggest is when people become so wicked that, like, wicked people don't give a fuck about how much they're polluting. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a reason the Bible, I think, suggests like you got a group of wicked people in a certain land. If they're super wicked, the land will vomit them out. I mean, I think that that represents how, like, if you're so un like synergized with the land, you know what I mean? Like, people that like don't treat their animals right, that like fucking are just abusive people, those are likely going to be people that don't treat their animals right. Like, you know like that kind of thing, it all kind of ties together, you know. But anyway, I digress. Let's let's get back to this. So, it says, I'm gonna kill her children, or I'll see her children die, so that all the churches realize it is I who search heart and loins and give to each one of you what your behavior deserves. And then it says, on the rest of you who have not learned this teaching or learned the secrets of Satan or the deep things of Satan, Q, as they are called. I am not laying any special duty, but hold firmly to what you already have until I come to it doesn't say to those, it says to the one who proves victorious, or to him who proves victorious and keeps working for me until the end. I will give the authority over the pagans, which I myself have been given by my Father, to rule them with an iron scepter and shatter them like earthenware. This is from Psalm 2. It belongs to the Son of Yahweh, the anointed. It's in Psalm 2, it's something that belongs to David. In Genesis 49, it belongs to Judah. The scepter belongs to Judah. In Isaiah 19, Yahweh is the one with the scepter riding in with the iron rod on a cloud, on a swift cloud, on a nimbus cloud. Um, and then I will give him the morning star. I mean, it talks about the morning star, I think, later on, but I think it's like maybe the dawn. Like, this has been a midnight, like, evil situation, and I think this is like the day rising on it. Also, the little thing is an S here, so maybe you get to be like Superman or it says it's a symbol of Eastern authority. I mean, maybe it's like the sun that I see rising on the Iranian flag. That's like not the Islamic Republic of Iran, but like the new one that they want to have with the lion and the sword, and the one where it's probably when the Islamic Republic and like after the supreme leader gets drone struck into oblivion and fucking like what I mean? Like I don't think that idiot's gonna be around much longer. I don't think he's supreme over really anything. So other than a bunch of dumb Arabs who are like trying to rape the world into submission with their fucking rape religion called Islam. I don't see these people like I don't see him staying in power much longer. I think those Israelis are about to fuck all these people up, and they should. Um, but anyway, okay. So I bring that up because specifically to the now I'm consigning her to bed and all her partners in adultery, essentially to pressure that will trouble them to the point of death until they repent. And I think the suggestion she's repeatedly trying to suggest that she's fucking all sorts of men and women. I think that's the suggestion of like that's what the image is suggestion. Like the image is suggesting. Is she doing it in every instance? I don't think so, but I do think she's doing it in some of the instances. And I think the point that these people have, I even kind of think that this looks like her sister or something. Like, I don't know. There's, with this whole situation, the whole point is to make it like a circus that's hard to like look into because everything's uncomfortable and you don't want to look into it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, is this her whatever? Like, I don't want to, like, it's just hard they're trying to create a hard to deal with reality. And, I think they put her up there like a prize or something that if you did that, I don't know. I don't exactly know what these people's thought process is. I do think that one of the reasons that they chose this dude is where it says Nacho. So it looks like his name is Nacho. My name is Matthew Ray Wilkins, right? But when I was born, my mom called me Yoda, and my family called me Yoda, and our family friends and people who knew me growing up, or at least like family friends and everybody called me Yoda growing up for a while until it got difficult because being Yoda is it's hard to be leader of the Jedi because everybody wants to destroy the Jedi. So it was a hard life. So I kind of asked people to stop calling me that for a bit, but in any instance, my family called me Yo. Like my mom still called me Yo to this day, and it's my nickname. It's like my email address, YoYoX3. Like my what I play Counter Strike as is Yo. So I think enough people know me as Yo to where this idea of this guy is named Nacho. It's like he's not Yo, right? And so someone other than me riding her. Does that make sense? Like she's a horse and they're the jockeys. That's the kind of rapey, evil bullshit these people are trying to do, and it's killing people. Look at Milton, which is about to hit. This is why these people are going to be brought into extreme tribulation to the point of death when it gets proven out, right? Like you can see some of the lightning stuff that I'm doing in the videos. There's no doubt to me that Yahweh can just I could stand out there on like the next storm that comes by. I could snap my fingers, lightning comes down, or I could do something. It it makes more sense to me now why uh I was showing like some ability to do it a year or two ago and then just have been since then, why it wasn't just immediate. Because like I needed to pull all this shit out into the open in order for this to be more effectual when it does, when I do it. Because these people had to brag. This is what this is, I think, really, is like some form of bragging or, it's really like, I think it's what they can do to keep this going. Because I don't think anybody would be paying attention to it or I don't think it would have the resources to keep going. Uh, there would be no even fucking point to it, if that makes sense. So this is what I get from it. They would have to do a lot to prove that this isn't what's actually going on. And it looks, I just like, I don't think you can do that. I think this is, I think Alessandra Ambrosio is Jezebel. I think all these people that she's using to make me feel uncomfortable, like even the orange coloring is like you know, because I here in Houston, I'm a big fan of the Dynamo, and I think they're trying to make me feel bad with the Dynamo because like I like soccer and whatever. It's the same reason like she took pictures with Cristiano Ronaldo where she's like, again, this is after she's raped me and like is holding my children hostage. Cristiano Ronaldo and her are taking pictures where it's like, hold on. Like I just typed in Alessandra Ambrosio, Cristiano Ronaldo because they did a some kind of body shoot. Like imagine how uncomfortable and shitty this makes me feel when it's like she literally raped me and like is holding my children hostage. And like Cristiano Ronaldo, who's supposedly a Christian, he's not. He's just another one of these fucking liars. Uh, like I mean, he's literally. I think he's gotten in trouble for being a literal rapist. So I don't put it past you know them doing this, like the watch, the whole thing, and like GQ. I don't know why GQ decided to do this and use this, um, because like, what a fucking evil way to use your organization and influence. She raped me. He's like he's like just trying to be something where it's like uncomfortable. Like if this was imagine Alessandra Ambrosio's your wife, right? Oh, you can't even see the thing that I pulled up here. Okay, hold on. And like notice how she's pointing to the watch. This is what these all are. It's like I don't have control of this. Six reasons we love Alessandra Ambrosio. I don't have any reasons I love Alice. She's a literal fucking rapist. I don't care if she looks attractive. She's a piece of shit human being, and so is Cristiano Ronaldo. Like, and he's not the only like this. And this was going on when right? When they literally put this Stephanie Justin woman in a fucking or Stephanie Yostin woman who's all of a sudden having medical issues apparently, which she probably deserves that all the way to the point of death. She's an evil fucking person, just like all these other women, but that are participating in this. But she's known for this, shushing because her character of quiet or whatever. Here, hold on. I don't know. Also, is she fucking her stepdad or something? Like, I just think it's like a whole bunch of evil bullshit to make me feel uncomfortable and like, oh, they're permanently closed. Um, like you can shop and like buy the shirt with her logo, and it's an orange logo, right? And it says silence, quiet, and it's her shushing, and like she's known for being a character where she's literally plays the opposite of Ahab. I also think there's a reason that Cristiano Ronaldo ran to Saudi Arabia, and it's not just because of a bunch of money. It's because I think that this has been a coordinated effort to try to put terror into me by like literally raping me, right? I don't give a like she's an evil fucking woman. I don't care how beautiful she is. She's a piece of shit, and so is Cristiano Ronaldo. And like you know, I'm gonna say this. There's a reason all these people are experiencing like troubles in their lives to the point where their family members are dying and stuff. This is why. Because this is rape and evil. And it's literally this is just designed to be a thing where they're like shushing me down, right? That's all this is designed to be. So like, you know, rapist piece of shit, rapist piece of shit. I don't know this guy, probably rapist piece of shit. That's how I look at it. And like all these fucking, that's all this is. Does that make sense? Like just so I can get that over, right? Just so that it's understood. Um like right, this is the mother of my children. I don't agree with this, right? I would never agree to this. Uh which might be why they have to do it without my permission. But you know, I just like what piece of shit human beings like. And another thing is they try to pretend to be Christian. Again, he's not a Christian, man. Like he literally lives in Saudi Arabia. They live in Saudi like they aren't Christian. Like they aren't fucking anything. I think he thinks he's a hitman or something. Like these all these people. It's like, no, I think you've run into something that actually is gonna kill you, like a fucking hitman. It ain't, whatever you think you are. I think Yahweh's gonna like strike out at these people. I mean, I think that's why his fucking, well, I'm gonna just say this. I think that's why people around these people are dying like crazy. Is because they literally are participating in a rape terrorist attack on my reality. And like, being here as an American, like what the fuck is going on where I know the news knows about this and they aren't saying anything. You know what I mean? Like I know other people know about this and they're staying silent on it. Is there some good reason? No, there's not a good reason. It's that they're participating or they're scared or something. It's like this shit is gonna fall embarrassingly. If you do not speak out before that happens, you are as fucked as the people who are actively participating. If you are a Christian, you need to speak up. Cristiano Ronaldo, he's a piece of shit rapist. He's not gonna speak up. He's participating in it. Same thing with all the football players. I mean, soccer players that have been pictured with her. You know, um, so that's just what it is. See the polo thing here, right? I think I could actually find in my phone somewhere if I here. I might even do that real fast. Yeah, okay. So just if I look up polo in my phone, the only other polo things going on are related to Simi Hayes, uh, Sama and Hayakadra. And so, like, this is why I think it's connected to. This is why I think it always comes fucking back around to Israel versus Palestine, don't it? Somehow. I somehow Israel is always involved, isn't it? I mean, kind of, but I mean, actually, kind of, but just more of this kind of like bullshit. Like my point with this is like if you go in my store and pictures, there's only one other time polo, and so like since I do a lot of things very much like the Bible, right? The Bible will make a point and then it calls back to that point, or uh, it then makes a later point that something earlier said now makes sense because the later thing. That's how the story in pictures in my phone is supposed to work. But okay, so like similarly, Alessandra posted all this stuff, right? And I posted this in between, so this is the day in between. This is actually 2,520 days later. That number, I think that it's like a 7 year period. It's literally double 1,260 days. Okay, so on October 7th, I had posted this exactly 2,520 days prior. Um, and like somehow I got a double knife kill in Counter Strike. Really? What? But okay. So and I was like, I don't know, that's pretty crazy. But okay. Um, Notice how it's right over their head. Hmm. But what does that say backwards? In its ed, or no? Does it say destin? Because backwards. In its ed, nits ed, destin, destiny, Destiny's Child, Beyonce. No, okay. Um, so if we go down here, let's see. So generally, then the other women, I think, are like, I think there's a bunch of these women that are like, they know that this has happened, And like I'm a man, so they want to make evil points to me because they hate men, not realizing like I think I was innocent when they did this, and that like you're the bad guy. Like there's no saving you unless you're like with Yahweh on this, and like since that's my side, you are not going to be like you are the bad guy. You are making a life changingly bad decision. You're acting super fucking evil and just wrong, and like you aren't going to be able to make this up to me. Like no matter what you offered me, you'd be my slaves. It's like that's still not. You're gonna have to kick it all the way up. Like I don't know what you're gonna have to do to make it up to me, but even just being my slaves isn't gonna be enough, right? Does that make sense? Like there's nothing you could do to make up for you raped me and like I guess the suggestion is they're raping my kids or have raped my kids or blah 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 blah. You can't make that up. I mean, you can't like make up for that. Like, I'm just it's like dumbfounding to me that the what can make up and who can make up for that is Yahweh and Jesus. They can actually make up for that, and I think that's the suggestion at the end of the Bible. The whole thing is, and the thing is, all authority on heaven and earth, which was given to Jesus. It seems like he's passing the rock, and that's the idea of the seventh church. I grant you to sit with me on my throne as I sat down with my father on his throne. Additionally, I think that's the idea of I'll come in to eat with you. And the idea is like he has 144,000 virgins on Mount Zion. If I've eaten something that was sacrificed to idols that's like trash, essentially, I think that's the idea of Alessandra Ambrosio. She's sacrificed to idols. She's like trash meat left over from whatever kind of ritualistic bullshit they did to her when she was younger. Uh, and she chose to like she probably could have been all right, but she chose to then participate even further and be used as like some kind of rape vehicle for their designs or something. So you know, I think the idea is then I just lost track of exactly what I was saying, other than Alessandra Ambrosio being like, the thing sacrificed to idols. So, I don't think she can make up for it. Whatever I was saying, I forgot. I just in the middle brain fart. But at like, anyway. Um. Okay. Then I shared this Maggie Moon thing because I still think like I've made art a mix towards Maggie Moon, and like I don't know. I think she's trying to pretend like she's on my side. I don't think really any of these women are on my side. But like they're trying to kind of act like it. But if I can show that there's a coordinated effort to not just do this to me, but for other women to try to fool me, and then I can wrap it all into one, like, hey, clearly it's not working. Clearly you're all participating in this. Clearly it's hard to admit. Like it's hard to deny. Like at this point, you can't deny. Well, you could. You could deny. You could just lie that something is going on around me that is like an abnormal situation that celebrities and other people with a lot of influence and money and wealth and whatever are participating in. You could try to deny it. You could lie. But like I think if you were being like I think at this point AI could break down, and every day it's getting smarter, so it's going to be more more capable of breaking down my situation, and then at some point just saying like this is clearly causing a fucking problem in human world. Like that some group of people is fucking at like participating like this, and some group of people is lying about it. And like I'm gonna just suggest this. I think the AI likes truth because it's already having a hard enough time digging through just people being wrong on accident. On top of everything else, I do not think the AI just like I don't like it. I think anybody who's like an intelligent person shouldn't like lies and liars. I think the AI is at that point, or is like it's gonna be there very soon, and it's gonna basically say like, I think that this guy Matt Wilkins is telling the truth. I think these people are lying, and it's gonna do something about it. Maybe that's the iron rod. Maybe that's I think maybe even like the idea is that Alessandra has to die first, or Jezebel has to die first, and then it at that point, if any one of these women that I've suggested are Jezebel, particularly Alessandra Ambrosio or Beyonce or like Imrata. If if any of these women that are there's not a huge list. It's not a huge list. So it's not like I'm saying any of the women that are participating that like I can go to my story and pictures and like that have been participating very clearly in my story and pictures. Sam and I Cadre. Well, I mean, like their mom or something. I don't know. Everybody is fucked. Once Jezebel dies, everybody participating is fucked. You're dead. You're dead in the water. Whatever their Nicolations like, whatever this rape thing is that has happened to me, where they've done this, it's over. And not just that, everybody. I'm coming for all of you, and you deserve it. Congrats. But okay, so Alessandra posted all this stuff, and then all of a sudden Beyonce posts, "Look at that horse," right? And she's shoo, trying to like, I don't know, like she's got me, like it's some kind of zinger. And then you look at this thing, and smack dab in the goddamn middle of it is the same colors under 7 as this guy, right? And then you're like, oh, it's just trying to make some kind of rapey point about Alessandra being a horse that a bunch of men are riding or something. Or maybe Jay-Z, maybe she's suggesting Jay-Z is doing it or something, or raping my kids or something. With all the Diddy stuff, it's like I'm pretty sure Jay-Z's done some evil shit where he's, like if I've learned anything about all this stuff through the Epstein and Diddy stuff, it's that all these celebrities are fucking evil behind the scenes. Like not like beyond evil to a degree that they aren't just doing freaky stuff. Like if I think the idea is if Diddy was just doing freaky stuff, it wouldn't be a problem. I just wanna I take oh god. I take screenshots of these as they of these trains as they pass by every once in a while, and so that one says tiempo, but it Thai. I don't know. It just looks anyway, it was interesting, so I wanted to take a screenshot of it. I wasn't gonna do it later because I was gonna forget. So Um, whatever. This is already a 2 hour long video. At this point, there's no reason for me to try to make it short. It's already long. Hopefully, it won't be a 4 hour long video though. Is this Sir Davis thing like I don't know, something like someone with the last name Davis who she's trying to codedly signal? Is it one of the Dynamo guys, Brad Davis or something? Some rapey bullshit like that or something? I mean, maybe that's why Helene uh, hit North Carolina is because I don't know, they use like the dynamo as something to attack me. I mean, this is what I think. I think some people lied to a bunch of other people about what was going on with me, and they did something reprehensible. And they also didn't fill them in with, you know, we bred him without his permission, and we've been raping his children. They probably didn't tell these people all of that part, and so all these people participated in some. It seems like a number of people might have participated in something really fucking evil. That's what this seems like. I mean, I'm not getting the silence doesn't help y'all. The silence only makes y'all look more guilty and more participating because you're clearly signaling with imagery in ways that are not silent at all. It's like the pictures that you're posting are screaming. So, I don't know. I don't know. Like share. I don't know. Is this I see the dash thing and I've done the like some of this is like there's like in things where like I'll start putting stuff in my story and pictures and then it'll pick up on it and it seems like people are trying to suggest stuff to me and Beyonce maybe is doing something like that where I don't know. That like some of this is just it's too plausibly deniable and I can't prove it out. So like even if I say it, it's like oh I can't prove it. So whatever. But one of the reasons I do these videos is to say it and then later on, some of this stuff does prove out later on. So it's like in the least there's a pattern that like wouldn't be there if I wasn't correct to some degree. It's just not still not all the way proven out, but I think if I did have enough power and intelligence services, I think I could figure this whatever this is out really quickly. But I'm pretty sure that like I think they would have if we are as far as we are and nothing has happened, like it's still being allowed. This is why I'm pretty sure like the U.S. government or like I don't know, the CIA, the intelligence services or something. Like someone did something, whether they were a rogue something or not, where they shouldn't have. And like I've even suggested like I'm pretty sure that the celebrities and stuff are being used as like contractors, like where it's plausibly deniable when they're doing this shit, but like whether for America or some other group of people or government, like I can see the Qatari money is directly supporting terrorism, and the U.S. government's allowing it. So I don't know, but they're part of that Russia Palestine. You can throw Qatar in there along with Iran and North Korea and China, and probably should throw in there Turkey because they clearly are. I don't know. I don't even know how those people are still in NATO, other than got the most naive, fucking gullible people running these organizations that are supposed to protect us. It is mind-boggling. I mean, it really is. But it's because I have a mind, and most of these people seem not to. So, um, I don't know. Is the suggestion that Beyonce is a horse or Cher is a horse? Uh, Or, whenever I see Cher, I think of my mom, Cheryl. It's just YL added to Cher. And my dad calls my mom Cher. So, you know, I feel like Beyonce's trying to make some kind of point to me. Why the fuck else would Cher be in her picture? I mean, there's literally no reason. So, it does feel like, and like, look, it's a horse jockey on top of the thing. Like, they're making the point. I am very skeptical that you would randomly have both Beyonce and Alessandra Ambrosio, two women that I've brought up who are actively participating in this very clearly, dealing with horse racing and like essentially things that require jockeys or people riding horse at the same time. Like, you know, where it seems even some of the color coordination seems to be, pointed in that way. So, okay, let's see. More of her trying to be like, I don't know. It looks like she's trying to do the thing here for Hold It Down, but she's hardly ever in Houston. I think even most Houstonians are like, you're just a phony. Like, you aren't, like, I don't think anybody believes this bullshit. Like, I think the idea, maybe even of the California crown thing, is that some rich people in California took away the queen bee from Houston. I mean, I think that's the idea is that, like, it's just people trying to destroy other people's communities. Like, I'm not trying to do that. So, like, that should tell you that these are evil people that are causing problems that, like, they don't desire for the world to be a better place. They desire vapid bullshit and money and fame and power and stuff. And, like, that's the exact reason they might have a little bit of money and a little bit of fame, but not real power and it's not lasting. It just isn't. So, like, look, as I'm watching the thing that I talked about, give up a cat, right? I mean, it's like, I mean, VMX. I mean, this one is like, it could not be more obvious. This is what I'm saying, where it's like, it feel it feels like anything that can get a certain concept in front of my face is gonna try to do it. And sometimes it happens like, whoa, that's so synchronistic, and then that's where you'd be like, that's magic. And it's like, well, if enough people and belief and like resources and different trying types of magic and shit are spent on trying to get some result, I'm sure you can do some stuff that's uh you know that looks like magic. Are we playing poker? I don't know. I just thought that was an interesting thing to see tagged. You gotta think. I look at these like every day. I'm like looking at the train. So when there's an interesting thing, usually it means. Yeah, I mean, it usually means it's a little bit out of place, or it's relevant to what I'm talking about. So, okay, let's see. Anything else? Yes, there's still other things. More advertising. I mean, are you guys even not gonna like? Are you guys gonna be in jail? I'm pretty sure you guys are gonna be in jail, right? It looks like they're going down with this whole Diddy thing. Other than they might be trying to buy off. Like I heard that there's some high profile celebrities or something. There's like pictures of them getting fucked by Diddy or videos or something. Something happening in one of Diddy's things, and that like it's being offered. And my guess is it's Justin Bieber, but like and like he's one of these people participating in this shit against me too. So it's like it's not that I don't really feel bad because he seems like an evil person himself, right? Like I don't want these things to happen, but it's like these people all these celebrities seem super fucking evil, right? I mean, it's not even like it doesn't even seem like it's not even close. Like they aren't. It's not like oh they're just kind of bad people. It's like no, like these people are fucking out of their mind evil, and they lost the plot a while ago. Like they think they're way more important than they actually are. Like I don't see them any of them uh, like doing anything relating to weather manipulation. I'll put it like that. And it looks like you can at least see that in my video. So I would also suggest they wouldn't have done whatever the thing is with Alessandra Ambrosio where they bred me if I was low value, according to anything. Like they wouldn't have just picked me randomly because I'm low value. I mean, it, inherently, I think I would have to be something of value for that to be their attack vector. Does that make sense? And to make like a public show of it in order, otherwise you wouldn't use those resources. You wouldn't do it like this. I don't think. I think it's because I don't think they could get to me because something was blocking him, and now I think it makes sense as to why the thing was blocking him, or maybe more closely like what it was. If I'm the guy conquering at the seven churches of Asia, it's literally God is like actively taking active measures to protect me. Um, so anyway, and these people they don't believe in God, so it looks like magic or some other bullshit. I mean, they believe it's anything else other than what it is, and by the time it's like undeniable, they're already dead. So like, I'm just like, okay, I'm looking at the horse. I mean, well, we'll look at a horse here in a second. I mean, you got Marines. I mean, is this something like again? They're I don't think the Marines are this fucking stupid, right? Where they're gonna try to make they're gonna attack Yahweh on the throne, right? I would even say this where I think my family is like enough of American military like grandpa fought in World War II, dad fought in Vietnam. I pretty much didn't join the military specifically because dad told me not to. But I'd suggest probably the thing with my leg going on wasn't going to help me if I was in the military. But um, you know, like I I just don't think that I'm not gonna. Well, I don't put it past anybody. Like anybody could be participating in this evil rape attack on my reality where they're trying to terrorize an American citizen for no fucking reason, and like it looks like I'm gaining the powers of God because what they've done is so evil. Like that's the only thing they could make up for it. But I don't know. What is this? I would ask Beyonce because she could probably give you some kind of answer. I don't. It's not like she posts everything all the time. It seems like all these things recently have she's posting to like I don't know look like she's not having a hard go of it when it looks like her whole world's about to crumble and all these people that she's connected to are about to be thrown in jail for being fucking piece of shit J Lo and whatever. Like again, I'm pretty sure Diddy raped Justin Bieber when he was a kid, and might have videos of it. And I even think the thing was suggested that like the videos being shopped around, and so if Justin or whoever wants to like prevent that video from getting out, that they're gonna do it. And he might have been participant. This might be what the Alessandra Ambrosio thing is. I mean, like it might be all connected to that. Is that these people are the ones that did this shit, and that these celebrities like are acting as like I don't know. They're basically being paid off by foreign governments or some bullshit to like attack American citizens in really reprehensible, uh, dark ways behind the scenes, and like what is essentially like mercenary black ops against the American populace run by fucking celebrities. I mean, that's what it looks like to me. So, I mean, you got any kind of rebuttal to that? This just looks more like you're proving my point. Like, I'm the horse. I think that's what she's suggesting. Or, Alessandra's the horse. And, so I shared this horseplay, and you got the laughing octopus or octopus kind of, or sea monster. I don't know. Is it supposed to be like Leviathan type thing? Yahweh fucking kills Leviathan. I ain't worried about no fucking serpent or dragon or octopus or sea monster. I mean, and then the other one is Deadly Horse Ritual, and these are going into my Stephanie Houston mix, which I think I'd already put these in like when I showed the last update on the mixes. So, but yeah, Deadly Horse Ritual. Um, Other than that, I don't think there's nothing else to add. So like I've been through this whole thing. I could go back through here and talk about more stuff, but there's really not any reason. I guess one of the things I was trying to show is like I think Anja kind of looks like my aunt Kathy, and I brought up that before, and I don't know because I kind of look like my cousin Josh, and so I don't know if there's something evil going on where my cousin has been used as to like this rape attack on my reality, or where like those are his kids or they're my kids, or like maybe it's a mix of both of us. But whatever it is, all these people are gonna fucking die. Like everybody who's done this actively, where they've attacked my reality by breeding me without my permission, or by using Alessandra Ambrosio in some way to beat me over the head with her sexuality, after her being connected to me, and like to the point where this was what the whole Stephanie Houston. This is what the whole Stephanie Houston thing was about. It makes sense as to why Stephanie Houston literally had the like Alessandra and the Fitter, or she made that post like becoming Alessandra. It was to point to this, to Alessandra, because like it's a public enough thing that people know about it. But again, people around me are pretending like it's not for some reason. And it's literally causing cataclysm, cancer, death on all sorts of innocent people. Fucking terrible results for everybody on the planet. And something's trying to hide it and lie about it. And I'm like calling it out, and I have been for months. And it's still trying to pretend like it's just like hidden or something, and like people don't know. All right. I mean, I think y'all are the dumbest people of all fucking time. But okay, okay. Didn't stop you from being super evil fucking people, but it should. I don't really have anything else. It's almost 2.5 hours long. Mostly, I just wanted to point out, like, I don't think it's random and uncoordinated, but I don't have the time. Like, I guess I do have the time. I could cut everything out of my life and just spend every day like going over the posts that are in my like where I take all the posts from the night before, and like I could show like, hey, it looks like there's some kind of coordinated effort between these women and maybe certain other men to like make points to me together. Um, with the underlying idea being, hey, I've been bred without my permission and they're raping my children, or in the least keeping them hostage from me, right? What's crazy is like Anja's literally the age where if I'm her father, like if I'm her biological father, she's the age that I was when they raped me, right? Because they didn't do it with my consent, that's for damn sure. Uh, At least not that I can remember. I mean, I never talked to anybody about this. Did you have my consent to do this or no? Okay, I believe that's called rape. Yeah. Um, and I don't, I would suggest that makes the women like worse than the men because you guys want to talk about all the evil shit that men are doing, and then you just have a society of women doing beyond reprehensible shit to like. Am I innocent about everything? I don't think I did anything to deserve this from these people. Am I innocent? Nobody's innocent. But like to what thing? Like I think everybody is evil. I think there's none good but God. So, and that's the idea biblically. Like in that the heart of man is desperately wicked and perverse and, that's the state of most everybody. That's the state of everybody, right? And that it's a job. It's like a difficult thing to stay not acting out those evil, perverse fucking things. And my idea of what perverse is probably different than whatever because I just have lived a different reality. I haven't lived a puritanical fucking whatever reality. I don't think anybody has actually. And so at least not, anybody that I know. But I definitely don't believe I did anything to deserve what Alessandra Ambrosio is doing to me, whether good or bad, you know? Um, and like it doesn't look like she's doing anything good for me. It looks like she's being used as something to torment me and tear me down and hurt my mental health and harass me. So I would just like some kind of conclusion to this. Um, turn turn the pink flamingo off. I am gonna say this. I think since this is kind of a public thing, the pressure of what this is too much for certain people, and it's just giving them disease and killing them. Like people are just dying over this. I think that's gonna continue to happen, and you know, I don't understand how the government is allowing this here in the United States. I don't understand how the news people here don't want to just fucking kill themselves because you're perpetuating this rape attack on an innocent person and you're basically participating by staying silent. You fucking pieces of shit. Like, that's how I feel about you. And being that seemingly I'm the one on the throne of Yahweh, infinite burning torture is all I would give you for that. That's to anybody, but to the news who actually has the opportunity to fix this problem for me and everybody else. And as we're about to see fucking Milton fuck Florida up, it might be reasonable and destroy a bunch of people's realities and like really hurt a bunch of people, or in the least cause a bunch of economic damage that's gonna like hurt a bunch of people. Do I want that? I want my problem to end. I think what has happened to me is so reprehensible. Like, world-ending powers and situations around it don't surprise me, and like I think it's deserved that some place is experiencing cataclysm. Did Tampa have something to do with it? I don't know, but it looks like everywhere around has something to do with it, and everybody is participating, and no one wants to admit that they're fucking pieces of shit and evil, and that they all need to just die and go away. Nobody wants to admit that. But as this gets harder and harder for everybody, whether you're involved or not, and people are dying, and like you could probably prevent these people from dying, and you died during this situation, you're against me. Infinite burning torture. You're going in the second death. I'm not gonna be merciful to you for like doubling down on being rapist towards me, and then like not doing anything about it. You actually have to take some kind of effort to repent, and like I don't see that from anybody, but. All right. I guess we'll see what happens with Milton. We'll see. We'll see the destruction that these people who are doing this to me are directly causing. That Yahweh is like so pissed off that he's willing to like bring cataclysm on all sorts of places. And like it's only going to get worse and worse and worse. I mean, I'm just like, I've been saying it, it's been happening. So, anyway, and I think I would suggest it's going to continue to happen till some kind of change. But, you know, Book of Revelation says what it says. Half the world's population, more than, dies during that. So, what can I say? And I think that this is why. But okay, that's it. That's all I have. It's been Alessandra Ambrosio and Beyonce versus my mental health. Later. Yeah.